Alright, so here is a little after and test here with Angelwax Enigma all-in-one. So this is their all-in-one cutting, polish, and seal all-in-one. Kind of show you basically what I'm doing with this car is I'm segmenting it. I'm going to do Angelwax, I'm going to do 3D speed, and I'm going to do Optimum GPS. So each section will have a before and after, and I'll also do a solvent wipe to remove any fillers. So the paint is metallic, so it's hard to pick up everything, but you can definitely see that the car's got water spots. It has an immense amount of scratches and swirls, given the year and condition of the car. Obviously it's not going to be perfect, but you can kind of see right here, you can see a good amount of swirls, and as we pan over, basically right here was where I hit it with the polisher. It cleans it up very good. What I noticed is that there is a little bit more wiping. So you have to kind of do a wipe with a plush on the towel, and then you have to go over it with like the nappy side to kind of clean it up, or vice versa. So you can see the paint definitely cleans up. This is pretty much where I kind of stopped. And then you can see where the swirls kind of pick up and everything. You can see all these water spots and swirls. And as we move over, it cleans it up. And obviously an all-in-one is not going to really touch scratches much at all. There'll be pictures and everything posted too, to kind of show justification in what it's doing. But you can see here, I mean, there's a lot of haze and swirling and some buffer trails, and it definitely cleans it up. An all-in-one isn't going to fully correct the paint, it's meant to enhance. So it's doing a pretty good job. I would just say that the extra wiping is, you just have to be tedious with the wipe down, because you'll get what kind of looks like hazing. So what I'm going to do real quick though, I'll actually leave the light on right there, is I am going to grab some solvent prep, if I can find it. There it is. So this is just Prep All. It's in an AIO pre-coat bottle, just because I use that sometimes, but I'm just going to spray a heavy amount on there and just kind of wipe this section just to remove any residuals or fillers that may be in it. And I'm not going to do the whole panel because we want to compare to see if the amount of fillers that are in here, if there are any. So we'll throw that aside. And I'm not really noticing a huge difference. You can kind of see some of that streaking that I was talking about though. It's got to get wiped a little bit better, but I'm not really seeing any more swirls popping up, so I don't really think there's a lot of fillers in this. You can see how bad it looks right here, and kind of right here is where I kind of laid off, and it still looks pretty good right here. So test one for Angelwax Enigma all-in-one. Pretty good, cleans up the paint fairly well. We just now have to test it against the other two. So stay tuned. So the cut is good on here, and it finishes nice. It does not create additional swirls or anything like that, which is a big plus. You can see a little bit more of that hazing. I just got to wipe better down here. But I'll finish wiping this, and then we'll move on to the next guinea pig, which will be 3D speed. All right, this is gonna be super hard to do in one hand, but I'm gonna try to show you. So I've just polished this section with the Angelwax. I redid this section where I did the solvent wipe. So I'm just gonna wipe it down and just see if I can kind of show you that streaking. So I'm just wiping it down with the nappy side. Let's see if we can pick any of that up. Yeah, see how it streaks like that? So that's the only kind of the only downside to this. I tried working the product in a little bit more, and I tried using it less, but it's still giving me some streaks. It doesn't mean the product's bad. It could be the pad that I'm using. I'm basically using a G21 with a buff and shine pad, orange cutting force pad. It's not micro swirling, it's not marring, it's not doing any of that. There's just a little bit more wiping that's involved. So it's just something to keep in mind. You can see with a second wipe, it gets rid of more of it. So I might not have wiped it good enough the first time. But there's still just a little bit. You can see from the light here, we're using a scan grip. So now I'll just kind of flip it to a plush side here, and I'm doing this one-handed, so it's taking a minute. So it's just a little bit of extra wiping. Again, sometimes that can be justified in the end result of what you're polishing. So if it gives you that more cut and a little bit better protection, which is hard to find in every all-in-one. So you can see after that final plush wipe, it cleans it up. So it may just be technique. It could be this is basically the first time I'm using this product. So it could just need more of a thorough wiping, which is often the case. I've used other all-in-ones that wipe off super easy, but they fill like crazy because they're filled with petroleum. So that was just kind of that little streaking there. But like I said, this car is pretty bad. It really needs a paint correction, but it does clean up. I mean, if we go up here, you can see how heavy and how affected that is. And then if we come down here, you can see how much more clarity is gained. So it's not bad at all, considering how bad this car is. It is definitely cleaning up the paint. So the cut is good. All right, so now here we are. I just hit this section with 3D speed. So what I can say about that are the pros is it definitely wipes off a lot easier than Angelwax. However, I'm noticing a huge difference in cut. If you come over here, I feel like the Angelwax all-in-one definitely got rid of the defects a little bit more efficiently. Whereas HD, or should I say 3D speed, you can see that there's still water spots right here. I mean, this is before, so it's pretty bad, and then this is after. It cleans it up, but you can still see those water spots there. So this is 3D's new rendition of speed, and I feel like there's more fillers and there's more petroleum in it and more wax. It's easier to wipe, and that's why I think there's more fillers in it and more oils and waxes. So it wipes away super easy, but to me that's a lot of stuff left over compared to over here. It just looks way better, in my opinion. Here, like I said, these panels here have all been, and these are flat panels. They might look a little bit better just because of, you know, force and whatnot. I still have to wipe all this down, but right now I'm just trying to do comparisons. But to me, 3D speed would have the edge in wiping ability, but as far as like cut goes, 3D speed is definitely lacking. You'd have to go over this a second time to try to clean some of that up, which I'll do. What I am gonna do right now is just do a solvent wipe. So I'm just using Prep All. I'm gonna load that on kind of heavy. And just kind of wipe that away. So I can't really say that it filled a ton. It's hard to tell with this metallic paint, but I am seeing a little bit more of the water spots. So I think there's definitely more fillers in this from what I can see, because a lot of this I didn't really see over here. I seen them mostly here, but now I'm seeing some stuff over here. So there's definitely a lot more fillers in 3D speed, and it's definitely lacking some cutting abilities, which is kind of disappointing because I've used HD speed for years, and once I tried this new formula, I just wasn't happy with it, and this just kind of proves it. like I said before, the paint's in rough shape, but when you kind of go over after a solvent wipe, I mean, that's not really fixing anything, you know. So, and these could be etched in, but I mean, I've used other all-in-ones that have cleaned up a lot better. So this new formula 3D speed is definitely lacking. I mean, it does add some clarity, which you want from an all-in-one, but a lot of times you want to cut through those defects. So right now I definitely give the edge to Angelwax. So we're going to go ahead now and test out Optimum GPS. Stay tuned. So I've just done a small section here with Optimum GPS, and despite what a lot of people say that it's not a pro product and the results are kind of lackluster, I want to see if I can pick up on here. Now obviously there's still scratches, we're going to see all those, but look at the water spots and almost the texturedness from where I went over it with it. I mean, that looks terrible with 3D speed. Sorry, I keep calling it HD speed. It's 3D speed now. And then you come over here, definitely a lot cleaner. Okay. So now what we'll do is we'll do our solvent wipe. So load that up. Wipe all this down here. I mean, it still looks pretty good. It definitely is way better than 3D speed. Way, way better. We'll come over here. So this is before, so it's pretty rough. And then you come over here. There's still a lot. I think maybe Angelwax might cut a little bit better. I don't think it's anything significant. I mean, it definitely cleans it up for sure. The paint looks way better. Down here, let's see if I can pick it up here. This is before. And if we kind of, so it cleans it up. It requires a little bit more wiping than 3D speed, but less wiping than Angelwax Enigma. And I feel like Enigma's got just a little bit more cut to it, because I'm seeing just a couple, just more defects. You can kind of see those swirls when the lights come together. They're a little bit heavier. So I think Angelwax still has a little bit more kick and more cut to it. Honestly, would you notice a difference in an all-in-one? No. I mean, all a customer's going to see is this, you know, versus, you know, potentially that. So, you know, the whole idea behind the all-in-one is it's supposed to be a money saver. It's not supposed to fully correct the paint or get rid of every scratch. It's definitely not gonna get rid of scratch. It's not gonna get rid of every swirl, but it's meant to enhance your paint as efficiently as possible. So again, here is Angelwax. I mean, it's really close. It really is. I haven't really looked at the price points. I'll do that on the full video. They're both great products. What I can say is, you know, 3D speed is kind of it's not something that it's a lipstick job. It's going to add a little bit of shine and that's it. So there's some areas where Angelwax just did an amazing job, and kind of the same thing with GPS. I'll have to look at price points to see which one. There's no right or wrong answer here. Honestly, both of them are great. I think Angelwax has a little bit more cut because potentially it has more compound in it, but there's more wiping, so it might be kind of like a wash. I'll be honest, I don't really use GPS all that much, but 3D speed is definitely going to be something that is not really, you can just see all the stuff that's left over. Like, I'm going to have to redo that whole section. It's definitely, 3D is definitely at the bottom of the barrel on this comparison. Enigma is leaps and bounds over it, and GPS isn't too far behind. So the only thing I can't really speak on is longevity, because I haven't really tested GPS and Enigma, so I don't really know. I can tell you most all-in-ones aren't going to last more than 3 months. 2 to 3 months HD speed, I see 1 to 2 months out of. It's probably longer now because it's got more wax and you know, more distillates in it. But as far as, I mean, you can see here, that's a lot left behind compared to you know, GPS. And again, it's not perfect, but that's a pretty significant difference with water spots left over. So I'm gonna finish up this car, and we'll do a follow-up video here. All right, so in regards to the section that 3D speed kind of lacked in cutting ability, I went back over it with Angelwax and they cleaned it right up. This is after solvent wipe too. So 3D speed definitely lost a lot of its cutting power from back in the HD days. I know a few years ago when it was HD speed, I used to be able to cut through stuff like crazy. Enigma took care of it. But yeah, it's just, obviously there's scratches and stuff, but if you remember on that video back there, there were just a ton of water spots left over, and they're pretty much all gone now, so Enigma cleaned that up. A-okay.
Hey, what's up guys? Brandon here, again with Emerald Coast Pro Plus Detailing in Gulf Breeze, Florida, doing the first of a product review on some all-in-one polishes on this C7 Corvette that we did. All-in-one polishes, essentially what they are is they're a one-step polish that will cut, finish, and protect in one step. These are really meant to be quicker jobs where you're basically enhancing the paint. A big mistake I see a lot of detailers do is they try to use all-in-one polishes or compounds, however you want to define them, and they try to get rid of every scratch and every swirl. So before you jump into all-in-ones, it's really important to kind of understand what they're meant for. They're really meant for enhancement. You definitely can reduce defects. You'll see some of that in the video that I showed. But really what it is, it's a quicker cleanup. And I use these particular brands because they're pretty popular, they're readily available, and there are 3 that I kind of got into using. I've been using one of them in particular for a while, and I wanted to test the new formula, and the results, to say the least, were a little bit eye-opening. I think there's a lot of companies out there that over-fabricate what they do. I'm going to be doing a lot more of this testing and the reviews to give you realistic results. You know, I hope you guys subscribe to the page, but understand by subscribing to this, you're going to get real feedback and real reviews. Nothing's going to be sugar-coated. I'm not branded. People aren't paying me to do these reviews. I'm doing this to kind of help other detailers and kind of to let our clients know, like, hey, this is the products that we use and these are the results that we can get. So realistically, like I said, all-in-ones are quicker jobs. And, you know, in determining what all-in-one to use, that's going to vary by opinion, but hopefully this little review here and this test will help you guys determine. So basically the 3 that I am comparing is Angelwax, Enigma all-in-one, 3D Speed, and Optimum GPS. Now some people might be like, oh, this is going to be a biased review because you're an Optimum guy, blah, blah, blah. I use Optimum products, but they're not for everyone, and like I said, this is a very open and honest review. So the first panel that I do in the video is with Angelwax Enigma. So it's a great product. I think out of the 3, it honestly has the best cutting ability. The only thing I didn't like about it was it was a little bit smeary, and you'll see that in the video. So it took a little bit more wiping. However, as far as cleaning up the water spots and some of the defects, I think it did the best job. The really only thing I can't comment on is the protection and how long it will take now, or how long it will last. Now it says ceramic infused. It's a marketing ploy. It does have silica in it, so I'm sure it's a good protectant, but in our reality, most all-in-ones, you're only going to get 2 to 3 months out of the protection. Everything is kind of diluted down. So ceramic infused, a lot of companies like to throw that word ceramic around. There's no hardening ceramics in here. It is silica. I'm sure it's a pretty decent protectant. You know, I didn't do any sort of hydrophobic or protection videos on this. I did do a solvent prep wipe to show that there were no fillers, or there were fillers in certain ones of these. But as far as the protection goes, I can't really speak on that. But what I can speak on is it definitely had the best cutting ability. It had very good work time. It was just the wiping. It's a little bit different of a technique. You kind of have to use both sides of the towels. Once I had gotten to this back section of the car, I pretty much had it down packed. So it does work a little bit different, a little bit more wiping, but nothing to where it was marring or damaging the finish. Overall, I was impressed with it. It is a very nice all-in-one. Something that if you have a car with heavier defects, I would definitely recommend. Understand that if you have heavier defects and you use a lesser grade all-in-one, you may not get the results you're looking for. Moving on is to a product I used for years. I've been using it for about 6 years, HD Speed, and I'll show the old bottle and the old label. It's kind of cut off here, but it used to be called HD Speed. So 3D kind of changed things up within the last calendar year. Now it's just called 3D Speed. And what I noticed is immediately when I started using this, it went on a lot easier and it wiped off a lot easier, but it was just lacking that cut. And in the video you'll see, again, wipes off easy, applies easy. It's probably great for mobile guys. As far as the work it does, I was very let down compared to the old HD Speed. The old HD Speed, I mean, this thing would cut through, it would diminish swirls great, it would even knock down some scratches a little bit with the right pad. It was still easy to wipe off. This new version, I'm really not impressed with, honestly. It showed fillers. I did a solvent wipe. It definitely showed more water spots, so it definitely has a filling ability. But as far as overall cut, I mean, if one thing that this test has shown me is this is something that I'm really not too interested in carrying anymore. So this review is kind of helping me. It's not a bad product. I'm not saying it's not, you should throw it in the trash and you should not use it. I think it's more for budget clients. However, where I am in Florida, I get such heavy water spots and such heavy contamination. I need something that's going to be able to cut and finish more effectively because time is money. So although this does wipe off very easy, I found myself going over the panel multiple times and it still wasn't giving me the results that say Angelwax was. So although it wipes off easy, it's nice and thick, you can kind of feel it going on. I really wasn't impressed with it. So this new formula of 3D Speed kind of gets a thumbs down. Like I said, doesn't mean it's not for everyone. The price point on it is great, and I'll kind of do an end of video price point because off the top of my head I'm not sure what these price points are. I want to say this Angelwax is somewhere in the $29 to $35 range for this bottle. 3D Speed I want to say is the $15 to $18 range, and I believe the Optimum is somewhere around $25. So obviously 3D Speed being the cheaper of the few, or of the three, that kind of tells something. You're paying for pay for what you get. So very easy to use. It's probably a great starter all-in-one, but when you get up into really doing higher end cars or cars that maybe have more defects, kind of like how this Corvette had, I can't say that I would recommend 3D Speed. Not saying it's bad, just saying kind of moving forward it may not be for me. The last product that I tested was Optimum GPS. Now this is kind of threw me off because a lot of people say, oh, it's not a pro grade product, it's readily available, you really shouldn't use it. I kind of disagree. It actually had very good cutting ability, very good finishing ability. None of these micro swirled or marred or did anything to the paint. This is harder paint, so that's to be expected, but I was able really to dig in and kind of focus on getting rid of those water spots and some of those defects. Throughout this whole test, I used a Griot's G21 and a Buff and Shine force pad. So it is a little bit heavier of a pad, a medium cut. And none of these, the good thing about all these is none of them marred, none of them did any damage, so that was great. But the Optimum GPS, it was very close to the Angelwax. I wouldn't say it was better, but it wasn't too far worse. It's close. The only thing I just don't like seeing on these is glaze. Whenever you see glaze, like this says glaze, polish, and seal, this says correction glaze, I just don't like that because that gives me the impression that there's a lot of fillers. Now the test I did on this proved that Angelwax Enigma and Optimum GPS had very few fillers. Now all-in-ones will all have a filler to some degree, but 3D Speed by far had the most fillers. Which there's it's got that reputation for having a lot of fillers, and that was pretty much proven today. But Optimum GPS did a pretty good job. And the idea of this video isn't to badmouth one company and say one is garbage or you should use this or you shouldn't use that. I have used all three of these. It really is preference. What I can say about the Optimum is it's messy. Optimum likes to do these sprayers, and it just kind of, I noticed if I didn't shake it up and get it exact, it seemed like just the oils were spraying out, not the actual product. So I didn't really like that. You know, so I tried shaking it up, and it could be because it settled as I shook it up and sprayed it more, but then I had too much product on the pad. So these are all kinds of things. It's just feedback to let you guys know, like, hey, you know, this is what can happen with this product. It still is a very nice product. I am an Optimum user. I do like it. I would say, honestly, out of the three, though, the one that performed the best was definitely the Angelwax. Rating it on a grade scale, I would honestly give Angelwax probably around an A. Like I said, the only downside I seen to it was a little bit extra of that wiping, but once you kind of get into that groove, it just becomes a pattern of how to do the car. The Optimum GPS, I would give maybe like a B plus or an A minus. Like I said, the downsides to that were really just the application of it. The sprayer got clogged, you kind of had to shake it up. I don't like the spraying aspect. You get into using too much product, it gums up the pad. Again, that can slow down your process. Time is money. So although the product did work pretty good, close to Enigma, I felt like I used a lot less product with Enigma. It was a little bit better cutting. By far, the lower end of the totem pole was 3D Speed. It's not a bad product. I feel like it's just it's an introductory product. It's for maybe guys who are just starting to get out into detailing, mobile guys. I know this is kind of made to be out in the sun and in the heat and in the elements. As far as in a climate control shop as such, where we're putting out quality work, you can definitely find something that is a little bit more efficient and works a little bit better than 3D Speed. Like I said, all of these you are going to most likely get between 2 to 3 months out of them. Understand with all-in-ones, you're giving up a little bit of something. If you get longer protection, you're not going to get as good of a cut. If you're getting more cut, the protection may be lacking, or if you get longer, vice versa. So these are blends. They're meant to be a one-step, one-pad, boom. Basically, what we call it is a lipstick kind of a deal. Is you're going to enhance the paint. Don't try to use any of these products and try to do a full paint correction. You're going to waste a ton of product. You're going to overwork and damage your pads. You're going to beat up your machines, and you're going to spend way more time than you need to get lackluster and mediocre results. If you guys are looking for one-step corrections, paint correction, things like that, I'll have more videos that kind of give you insight on what I use and the results that I get. And of course, opinions vary. By no means are any of these products bad. They are just not fit for anyone. So, like I said, Angelwax, I was pleasantly surprised. Once I got the wiping down, it definitely kind of lived up to the hype. Very nice all-in-one. A little bit more pricey, but again, time is money. 3D Speed, more of a consumer, prosumer, intro level all-in-one. Optimum GPS for the price, still a great product, just a little bit messy and didn't have quite as much, close to the amount of cut of Enigma, but not as much. So really all three of them are great. They're kind of like a good, better, best scenario. So we'll do good, better, best like this as far as the actual end results. But you can see I basically did half of this car in GPS and half of the car in Enigma, just because I'm going to follow up with it. But it did pretty good results. I mean, there are a lot of scratches, there are a lot of swirls. It didn't make this car perfect, but from hindsight, from a rear view, from a rear image or whatever you want to say, this is what the client's going to see. The car's going to look great. It's shiny, it's decontaminated, it's smooth paint, it's protected. This is ultimately what your clients are looking for when you do an all-in-one polish. It's not a full paint correction. It's not a ceramic coating. Every defect isn't going to be gone. But what they want is a shiny car that's protected and that's going to look nice. And that's exactly what we've done today. And that's exactly what a lot of the all-in-ones on the market are going to do. So hopefully you've enjoyed the video. Please subscribe. I'm going to be doing a lot more ratings and reviews. These are going to be anywhere from interior cleaners, ceramic coatings, sealants, and more. So please like and subscribe. If you have any comments or feedback, please leave them. And like I said, look forward to any responses from you guys, and be on the lookout for more videos. Thanks.